Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers practically everything you need to outfit your shack, plus the fastest shipping in the industry. In-stock items ship the same day, Monday through Friday until 10 p.m. Eastern. For more information, visit dxengineering.com/hamnation. And by ICOM. For more information, visit icomamerica.com/hamnation. This is Ham Nation, episode number 155, July 9th, 2014, the ABCs of WRTC.
Hello, everybody. It's Bob Heil, K9EID, and boy, do we have a special show tonight. We're going to learn a lot of things about the Olympics, but not the kind that has football and hockey and all that. We're talking about Olympics that have to do with these kind of things, microphones. And, well, for some people, some of these things could be pink, could be blue, could be red. However, what's happening, it's the Olympics of amateur radio. And we have really a great session coming up. Valerie's going to take us out to the East Coast where they're getting set up to do this incredible contest. And it's more than a contest, and we'll learn all about that. Gordon, is this exciting or what? Gordon West, WV6NOA, how you doing?
We're doing just fine, and wow, what a July. This coming weekend, beside WRTC, the #1 event, KJI and others will be at the Sussex County Amateur Radio Club Sunday 6-acre Ham Fest. And then weekend after next, Bob, I'll be at the ARRL Centennial. That one's going to be in Hartford. That one is huge, July 17, 18, 19, and 20. Also that same weekend, the 52nd annual, in your neck of the wood, Zero Beaters Ham Fest in Washington, Missouri. Also a couple weekends from now, 18, 19, and 20. Arizona State Convention, July 22 to 27, the Western Country Cousins Campout in Rio Vista, California. So plenty of excitement out there, Bob. Back to you.
Oh, wow. And I leave here in a couple of days. We're going to Toronto, just a little west of there, Milton, Ontario. And I'm really excited about this. The Hamfest I think they call it the Ontario Hamfest, and it's in Milton. And it's at the Milton Agricultural Fairgrounds. And I'm really excited. We're going to do 2 different workshops that day on Saturday, the 12th. Radio World, our good dealer there in Toronto, will be there along with a lot of other people. So we're going to be there. So you're exactly right, Gordon. It's really a busy time, but it's a good time. It's just a great time in amateur radio, and we want all of you to come aboard. I've received several very interesting emails this week, and I really appreciate them. People that are getting their license because of Leo Laporte putting amateur radio on his network. We really appreciate that. And here we are with, we're probably over 1,000 people now that have gotten their license because of Twit Network and Ham Nation. And we want you to keep them going. And we're going to hear more about this in the next week or two, but we even got a really great idea for a segment, and we're already working on that. But you guys and gals are giving us ideas. That's what this is all about. This isn't a show of 1 or 2 or 3 people. It's a show of 770,000 people that have amateur radio license in America, and all of those around the globe. We're getting a lot of reports from around the globe, New Zealand, Australia, the UK, Germany. So it's fascinating to be able to be here and join in with all of you in the fun. Well, we're going to go back to California because Gordon's got some information about his favorite subject. I'm pretty sure it's his favorite subject other than cats, right?
You're right about that. Tropospheric ducting. Last week we told you, hear the beacon? It was coming in 2,500 miles away, all the way from Hawaii. And Brian, happily married now, Brian. If you'll go ahead and roll the still shots, and let's take a look at Tropo. When weather conditions are normal, water vapor and temperature decrease with altitude. But when things are abnormal, things begin to happen like this. Normally, radio waves on VHF bend about 20 degrees max. And that causes them to go further over the horizon. But when we have tropo conditions with a warm air inversion, even a pair of them like we had last weekend, take a look and see what happens. The radio waves on VHF and UHF get caught up in the warm air inversion, and this allows you to hear repeaters much further than usual. And sometimes radio beacons will get caught up, just like we see the layering of moisture here, water and oil and other things. The radio waves get caught up in the warm air inversion, and they go for hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. And it's not just here on the West Coast all the way to Hawaii, but the Midwest, the Southeast, the Northeast. Look at all of the paths that open up in July. So turn off the squelch. And notice I have some question marks up there by Newfoundland. They did it. They worked all the way to the UK on 2 meters this past Monday. So pretty exciting conditions on VHF. And the weather that we see here is what causes VHF radio waves to go a lot further. And with many of the sites on your computer looking up NOAA information, you can see the path from California to Hawaii, undisturbed, wide open. And the Hepburn report, that allows us to actually get a prediction as to when we'll have great conditions. And that covers all of the United States. Now, what really triggers a tropo duct is a hurricane down south. So next time you see a hurricane, those of you on the East Coast down south, turn on the radio and start listening. And the beacon frequencies are a great way to listen, distant repeaters, and wherever that hurricane may go, that's where you're going to get some long-range tropo ducting. Here we see the red showing a great tropo forming up this past weekend between here and Hawaii. So normally that radio wave begins to get caught up, and it will go thousands of miles away on VHF, including repeaters that are sometimes picked up over 1,000 miles away. And the Tropo report really shows you where the path due to weather is open. Even mariners on radar will see reflections and refractions off of a tropospheric duct, giving them phantom images. Airline pilots, and that's Donald, W6 GPS, he'll report that at a certain altitude, he's hearing stations coming in 1,000 miles away on the 2-meter band. And you can actually see a tropo. You don't need a pair of binoculars. See the reflection in the roadway? That's the superheated air just above it with enough of a refractive index to reflect the sky from above. Now, normally here in Southern Cal, we look out at that little island and see the little dip in the middle. Well, watch what happens when the tropo duct begins to form. And again, that duct from here last weekend formed all the way to Hawaii. Well, we were seeing this, undisturbed air. That's Chip, and Chip says, come on, we got a tropo duct ready to happen along the West Coast. That's Janet, KL7MF, and she's like packing all the gear ready for the tropo, but it doesn't take much. So normally we would see the island dip called the isthmus look like this, and then early in the morning, it begins to distort. It begins to spread out. This is the same shot. It begins to now look like a cave. This is all optical illusion of a tropospheric duct, and you can literally see it about the 800-foot level, the distortion caused by the warm air overriding cool ocean air. And look at this. It was absolutely amazing to see all the forms of what happens during a tropo duct. And we can see when we look out at the horizon, the land masses begin to look like they're on stilts. The oil islands look like on stilts. And sometimes islands far off appear to come up over the horizon. Look at this. This is a reflection of a tropo duct of that tanker. That's actually an image of that tanker. And wow, it's being reflected off of a warm air mass to the north of it. Now, if you just looked out, you'd say, oh, it's a nice quiet day out on the water. But if you took a real close look, you see that big black area? That's actually a reflection of the seawater below. And look at this, 2 islands that normally we could never see well over the horizon are looming up, coming out of the tropospheric duct. So radio conditions on VHF, we look at low overcast at this end of the circuit at about 1,000 miles away. In Hawaii, they look at it at about 7,000. And what occurs is it heats up the air right above that cool air mass of clouds. And that's what triggers a 10 degrees inversion. And that's what captures the radio waves and travels all the way from here at the KH6HME. That's the Pacific group getting ready for a great season. And boy, they were on the air big time this past weekend. Those are the antennas from Hawaii aimed at the West Coast. And when that tropo duct forms up, they can almost see it by looking at it. So we hope all of you that begin to see mirages on the roadway will begin to anticipate that you may get a signal, KH7Y, on the mic talking all the way from Hawaii to the West Coast with as little as 10 or 15 watts of power. Just amazing what will happen with the tropo duct. And here it is. Many years ago, we actually had amateur television signals, and that's chips set up. And we were able to pick up television signals from Hawaii, the KH6HME beacon, with color. Just amazing, thanks to the tropo duct. So next time you're down at the beach or you see what appears to be a tropospheric duct, get out your microwave gear, get ready for some exciting band conditions, aim your antennas up and down the coast, because just like this wave guide, when we get a tropospheric duct, it'll create a band of brown air, but that will capture your signal, and it'll come down literally hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. And congratulations, Newfoundland to the UK on 2 meters. Wow, what a past weekend it was. So, Bob, that's what's happening at this end of the circuit. Back to you.
All right. I know that you guys have a lot of fun, and you do this every year. That's really great. And too bad it doesn't happen out here, but that's all right. We'll have to slide down to 160 meters at the other end or whatever. Well, we're going to head up the state here and see what Valerie's got going. And you know what it's all about this week. It's about the WRTC. And so, Valerie, it's all your microphone. Take it away.
Hey, thanks, Bob. I hope you're not hearing this noise in the background. I think my computer's getting a little sick and it's making some weird noises. But this week, yeah, as Bob was talking about, we have the WRTC, which is the Olympics of Radio. And I know I'm going to be active on the air this weekend. I'm going to be running multi-single using my call sign from WB9Z's location. So it's going to be a fun contest to get out there and try and work all these teams. But I have a little video that we're going to show you presented by the WRTC about what this event is all about. So if you go ahead and play that, Brian, and congratulations, by the way, Brian.
Radio, or ham radio as it's often called, enables its participants to use licensed shortwave frequencies to communicate with other hams around the world. For added fun, many hams enjoy contests to see how many other hams they can contact in one day. These contests, held several times each year, allow entrants to improve their operating skills. In July 2014, the world's top radio contesters will converge on the Northeast United States for the 7th World Radio Sport Team Championship, or WRTC. Using simple and equal antennas, these 2 operator teams will compete to contact as many stations as they can in as many countries as possible. This event promises to bring together the best of the best in radio contesting and showcase all that New England has to offer in summer. The first WRTC was held in Seattle back in 1990. The idea was to enable teams to compete from one geographic region, ensuring a true sporting atmosphere and neutralizing the variables of location, time, and weather. Since those first games, WRTC has been held in San Francisco, Slovenia, Finland, Brazil, and most recently, Russia. Each new host has continued the on-site team aspects while adding its own special flavor to WRTC with modified rules, updated judging procedures, and new technical boundaries. Returning to the United States after 18 years, WRTC 2014 will be the largest and most challenging event ever. With good signal propagation to the ham radio population centers of both Europe and North America, New England makes an ideal host location for the next WRTC. The city of Boston provides excellent tourist facilities, international air connections, and extensive hotel options, while the surrounding area's rich history and regional charm will ensure a great summer experience for all visitors. WRTC is, in essence, a contest within a contest. Held during the 24-hour worldwide IARU HF Championship, 59 teams of 2 operators each compete under a special set of rules that ensure equal terrain, antenna, and output power levels. The objective is to eliminate all location and equipment advantages and focus instead on experience, strategy, and skill. This all-star game concept is designed to unveil the top talent within the amateur radio contesting community and demonstrate what can be achieved with modest antennas and limited hardware. But getting one of the coveted operating slots at this event is not easy. The world has been divided into qualifying regions that are carefully balanced to represent both geography and contesting activity. Operators wishing to qualify for one of the WRTC 2014 teams must submit contest scores from the 3 years prior to the event, and only those with the highest aggregate scores from selected contests will be chosen to represent their region of the world. In addition to 51 main teams, there will also be 8 special teams selected in order to provide a more diverse set of competitors. These include the defending champions from WRTC 2010, a youth team, 4 sponsored teams, and 2 wild cards. WRTC is much more than just a competition. It's an opportunity for great operators to meet each other, often for the first time after years of contacts over the radio. It's also a chance for radio amateurs within New England to interact with some of the top operators from around the globe and to demonstrate the international appeal of amateur radio to a wider audience. Combined with the 100th anniversary of the ARRL, America's National Association for Amateur Radio, WRTC 2014 promises to be one of the year's highlights for amateur radio. WRTC is being organized by a private group of passionate amateur radio operators. Like any sporting event, WRTC needs both financial and logistical support. We hope to gather as many regional contesters and non-contester radio amateurs within New England to assist in this huge undertaking. Donations of any amount are welcome, and only with your support can we make this event a success. Details of how you can contribute or help as a volunteer can be found on our website at WRTC2014.org. WRTC 2014, bringing the contesting world to New England.
Wow, what a great video showcasing this magnificent event that only happens every 4 years. You know, as we air tonight, 59 two-member teams are arriving or have arrived in the Boston area from all over the world. And there they are, your 118 competitors. Now you're going to get a chance to work all of these teams during the IARU HF Championship contest that runs this weekend, Saturday morning through Sunday. So make sure you get out there and try and work as many teams as you can. You can also track how well they're doing on this live scoreboard that the WRTC is going to be posting. So there's the links to the WRTC website and to the live scoreboard. We have with us actually out in the New England area, in the Boston area, Randy. Is it Kilo 5 Zulu Delta, Randy?
Yes, correct.
There you go. Oh, great. You know, I was watching the video and it seemed to talk about needing volunteers. How many people do you need to put something like this on? It seems like a big event.
Well, it is. Part of the competition is setting up 60. We have 59 teams. We're setting up 64 identical stations, field day style, out in fields across eastern Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. And to be able to do that, we're having to do that in a period of less than 72 hours. So we have about 450 volunteers that are helping us do that.
Wow, that's amazing. Are you going to offer any kind of thing for anybody working in the contest, to work all these teams? Do you get any kind of special award or anything if you can work all 59 teams?
Sure. One of the great things about ham radio, unlike other competitions, everybody can join the field of play. So we have our 59 teams that are competing against each other, but anyone anywhere in the world can get in the game by working the WRTC teams over the weekend. They'll all be using one-by-one call signs, so they'll be very distinctive and easy to recognize. And if you manage to work if you work any team, we'll send you a QSL card. If you work all 59 teams, you have the chance to win a silver medal. And if you work the teams on the most band modes, so if you chase them across all the bands in both CW and sideband, you have a chance to win a gold medal.
Well, I think I'm going to go for the gold because I'm going to be doing multi-single. And for those of you who don't know what that is, the first word has to do with how many operators, and the second is how many radios. So there's going to be multiple operators, one radio. So definitely everybody get out there and try and work these teams and show everybody what we're all about here in the U.S. This is pretty exciting. Now, I understand you have some people. Who do you have with you right now?
So I'm joined by, I have several of the competitors here to talk to this evening. I'm joined by Sandy, DL1QQ. She's the team leader from one of the teams from Germany.
Well, I'm so glad YL actually qualified for this event, and you didn't even need to be a special, one of the 8 special teams. That's great. That's fantastic. We need more YLs in this hobby.
Well, thank you very much, and hi to everybody. It's really great to be here today in Boston. We're having lots of fun already. We had a great barbecue already, and I got to meet so many contestants already. It's so great. So thank you so much. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Randy. You did a great job so far, and I know it's going to be an awesome event, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you.
So, and by the way, there's a huge team of people that are behind this thing. It's not me. I'm just one of many, but it's been a great team effort. We've been working on this for more than 4 years, just to give you some idea of all the effort that's gone in behind it. So how did you get into contesting? What is it about contesting that's interesting to you?
Well, I started amateur radio at the age of 15. When I got my first license, and I got hooked to contesting right away. So I got my license in July, and in October I took part in the CQ Worldwide contest with paper handwritten logs, and I was so amazed by that, and I got hooked to it. So I take part in contesting since then, and it's lots of fun.
Very good. So what, being in ham radio and competition, what do you do for a living? What's your day job?
Well, my day job, I'm a police officer in Germany, and I'm working in the criminal investigation.
Yeah, very good. So not a technical job then. It's something completely different than ham radio.
Well, we have radios too at the police service, yeah, but it's on different frequencies, and I usually don't say 59 and the number, so. But, yeah.
Very good. And then I understand you're also a musician.
Yes, I play in a German brass band, like typical Umtata music, like you would call it. And our band actually will come to the United States in October. So we arrive on October 3rd, then for 2 weeks, and we will tour from Pittsburgh to Kitchener in Canada, Buffalo, and New York. So who wants to listen to our band is totally welcome and to join us, to listen to us.
So multi-talented. So let's bring in Sandy's teammate.
I started in 1991 at the age of 15.
Very good. So, Irina, come in and say hello. Thank you, Sandy. So it's quite interesting that we have a team of 2 YLs in the competition. So, Irina, how did you get into ham radio?
I saw at school there was written that they start a Morse courses to learn Morse code, and that was very, very new for me. And I thought that's quite different to the normal thing we do at school. And I tried it and I started, and this is what I love at ham radio.
Now, I understand that you like to do high-speed telegraphy, so HST competitions. Is that right?
Yeah, I like this very much. Thanks.
So how is that the same or different than over-the-air competitions?
The HST normally try to do high speed with letters and in a quite different way than in contesting. But contesting is not so far away from the HST because we have fast speed and we have to log it in the right way. And though this is the point where it meets high speed telegraphy and competition.
Very good. So how did you and Sandy become a team? How did you decide to team up for the WRTC?
We are both members of the Bavarian Contest Club. This is the reason we know each other. And Sandy asked me one day, hey, I would like to take part in WRTC. And I thought, oh, that's a big job. But we thought, let's try it. And we made it.
Very good. So what kind of work do you do? What is your profession?
I work in the sales department of a local newspaper. I live in Dresden in East Germany, and we have a local newspaper, and I'm responsible for getting a new subscriber.
Very good. Okay, thank you very much. Are we still okay for time and everything? All right, so we'll bring in. Yeah, thanks, Irina. So look for Sandy and Irina on the air this weekend. I'm going to be joined now by Dave, N2NL. Dave, what team are you on and where are you from?
Well, where am I from originally is New Jersey, but I have not been back there for probably about 20 years now. I'm an active duty member of the Coast Guard. And I've been stationed in Guam for the last 4 years. I just recently transferred with my family to Hawaii, where I'll be stationed for the next 4 years. My wife, Mickey, and my kids are watching actually right now. So my teammate is Tom, W2SC, and we're looking forward to doing our first WRTC as a team together.
Very good. So all the way from Hawaii and Guam. How did you get started in ham radio? How old were you, and what got you going in contesting?
Well, I was similar to Sandy. I got my license, I believe, when I was 14. It's been a long time. It's hard to remember. But very quickly after I was licensed, one of my next door neighbors actually was a contester. He had a very large tower and antennas, and he is actually Joe, W2REH, is my contesting Elmer. And he invited me over to his house, got me interested in contesting, and I've been doing it ever since, probably starting from the age 16 or 17.
So what is it about contesting? I know you do a lot of different things in ham radio, but what is it about contesting that captivates you, that keeps your interest?
Contesting is interesting to me because every time, every new contest, when it starts, you start at a score of 0. I mean, every contest is different. Propagation is different. There's different contests focusing on different regions, international, domestic contests, and it's all very interesting to me. I just prefer the competitive aspect of it primarily.
Very good. Now, I've heard some people say out in the hallways that you're one of the top teams, one of the favorites for this competition. So what's your goal? What are you predicting for this weekend?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think Tom and my goal, our goal is to do, the best possible so that when the contest ends, that we can just, reflect back and know that we did the best we could, given the conditions, and we'll see how the final results end up.
A very political answer, but a good one. We'll give you that one. Okay, thanks, Dave. Now I'm going to be joined by Kevin, N5DX. Kevin is the representative, the team leader for the W5 call area. We had one team, one of the qualifying regions that were mentioned in the video. There was one from each call area in the United.
We lost them on Skype, so I'll try and get them back.
Yeah, I made a little video on how to use a voice key or save your voice when you're contesting. It's really a good idea, a good thing to get in your when you're contesting. So if you want to go ahead and run that, you can, and try and get them back.
Will do.
All right. Voice keyer. This is an important tool to have in your arsenal if you're going to be contesting. It helps save your voice, and more importantly, it helps keep your butt in the chair. Nothing tires you faster than just calling CQ with no takers. It's easier to push a button. You can catch up on your emails or whatever while you're waiting for a response. Well, there's a couple different ways you can use a voice recorder. First one is to buy an external voice keyer. And this is from MFJ. It's their model 434, and it has 5 different message options you can put in there and store away for your contest. Another way is you may have one already in your radio. Luckily, I have an IC7700, which does have a voice memory keying option in there. So the first way to get to access to that is to exit out until you see the voice option here. And you're going to hit that T2 button for voice. And then you want to hit exit one more time. And it's going to give you the option to either play or mic record. And we're going to hit the mic record option. And here's where you get 4 different memory storage voice key options. So you can go down and pick which area you want to store it in. We're going to start in the first slot. Since there's no time written over here, I'll know that that's an empty slot. So we're going to start with the T1, and we're going to hold down the record button until you see the record come up in here. And that's when we'll be live and recording. And then as soon as we're done recording, we're just going to hit the record real quick to stop recording. CQ Contest, CQ Contest. This is November Victor 9 Lima Contest. Okay, that's done recording. Let's play it back. This is November Victor 9 Lima Contest. Now, if I don't like it, I can hit the clear button. And it cleared it out and it's gone. So let's try it again. CQ Contest, CQ Contest. This is November Victor 9 Lima Contest. Okay, that one's 7 seconds long. Let's play it back. CQ Contest, CQ Contest. This is November Victor 9 Lima Contest. Okay, I like that one. I want to keep it. So the next thing I might want to do is name it. So it lets me know what I have recorded in those 7 seconds there. So with the IC7700, you'll see here it has the USB port. So you can actually plug in an external keyboard. So we're going to hit the name button. I don't know if you can see me type here, but I'm going to type CQ Contest NV9L. Once you're done with that, you just hit the exit button and that's stored. I don't know if you can read that, but that one's in there. And now this one is below it is blank, and you can do another one in there as well. You can do thank you, you are 5'9", or different messages you can leave. And that's how you store in the voice keyer. We actually have Randy back at WRTC if we want to go ahead and bring him up. And Randy, we have probably about a minute or two left of this segment. So sorry about losing you there. If you want to pick up where you left off.
That's okay. We knew exactly when we dropped out. They heard the computer make a noise. So I'm going to hand it back to Kevin. So the question, Kevin, was who's his teammate this weekend?
Steve London, N2IC from New Mexico, is my teammate this weekend, and really looking forward to operating with him. And he's a great contester, and looking forward to the event with him.
So, Kevin, you've been to one of these before. You were, I think, in Moscow in 2010. What's been your WRTC experience so far?
In 2010, that was really a neat thing to share. I was able to be a competitor with my father, K5GO Stan, and so that was very fun to share that with him and kind of get my feet wet with WRTC.
Very good. And so how did you, since we've been asking everybody, how did you get started in ham radio? How old were you?
I was 13 when I got my license, and my grandfather was a ham radio operator. My dad is a ham radio operator, so my dad told me it was I was very into basketball and golf, and sometimes that's a limited time frame, but he said ham radio is something you can do your entire life. So having that opportunity to do that was kind of special.
Very good. He's absolutely right. So what is your profession? What do you do for work?
I am a speech therapist, and I recently moved to the Cayman Islands, and partly because of a job that was available there, and of course being able to get on the radio too from down there is very advantageous as well.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Kevin, Sandy, Dave, Arena. We have some more, but I understand we're running out of time. I guess just to close, I'd like to invite everybody to look for the 1x1 call signs on the air this weekend between 8 a.m. Eastern Time Saturday and 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, and work them. Every station you work, we'll send out a QSL card, and if you send your login, check out the website, send your login, you can be eligible to win some awards
Gordo,
from us.
What exchange do we give to those stations that we work?
The exchange is a signal report, so typically 5.9, and then your ITU zone. So it's a little different than some of the other contests, but the ITU zone for the eastern part of the United States is 0.8, the middle of the country is 0.7, and the west coast is generally 0.6. But you can actually look on our website, and we've got a table that tells what zone each state is in.
Got it. Thanks, Randy. Best success to all of your team.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot for getting on the air there and being there. I wish I was there. I was going to go there, and unfortunately I couldn't get off of work. But you guys have fun, and I'll work you guys in the contest this weekend. And so now we're going to head over to Don and see what's cooking over there.
Hey, thanks, Val. Boy, this is such an amazing weekend. WRTC, the Olympics of amateur radio, every 4 years, and of course, it's getting underway with the contesting and everything this weekend. It actually started with preliminary events today, and it's one of the most important events on the amateur radio calendar of any time in any year. And ham radio enthusiasts around the world coming together to watch WRTC 2014 unfold, and DX Engineering is anxious to see how its equipment performs. Now, in addition to offering technical support for the WRTC committee, DX Engineering has several key bits of gear in play to maximize the performance of all the competing stations. And even after WRTC 2014 is over, you have the chance to purchase the very same pieces of gear that the competing teams are using. DX Engineering worked with WRTC 2014 to develop new power sources that will be used exclusively in each competing station. The power sources developed to meet the WRTC committee's demanding specifications. They will be working admirably in real-world contesting environments. They're doing that now, and especially they're going to shine with WRTC 2014. And they're available to the general public soon, so bookmark dxengineering.com to stay up to date. The 2X arrays, TX38 is the official tri-band antenna of the competition and only available at DX Engineering. It's a tri-band 8-element Yagi. Gives you exceptionally wide SWR bandwidth on the 20, 15, and 10-meter bands. Excellent gain, front-to-rear pattern performance, too. The TX38 only weighs about 45 pounds and has a 7-square-foot wind load. It'll survive 100-mile-an-hour winds, 14.5-foot boom length, turning radius of about 20 feet. And full-size elements gives you the best performance. It's strong enough for permanent installations, yet light enough for field day or MCOM setups, and it is on sale for a limited time. And the WRTC 2014 contest stations are using Roan towers, ICOM radios, and Masterant support rope. And DX Engineering has all 3 of those brands. Also products for every facet of the hobby. MCOM, rag chewing, or contesting, DX Engineering has it. And DX Engineering is very proud to support such an important competition. We're all going to be watching WRTC 2014. See how everyone performs. Remember, you can get some of the very same radios, antennas, and accessories that the WRTC 2014 teams use in competition directly from DX Engineering. And if you want to grab any of the gear, get your order in by 10 p.m. Eastern if it's in stock. DX Engineering will put it on a truck headed your way tonight with proven products, expert advice, the fastest shipping in the industry. It's DX Engineering. They are helping you shrink the globe and make some serious points at WRTC 2014. Get your catalog or shop online 24/7 at dxengineering.com/hamnation. dxengineering.com/hamnation. DX Engineering, thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation. Of course, DX Engineering is right there in the forefront with WRTC 2014. But that's not all that's going on in the world of ham radio. There's a lot of other things, and we're going to get caught up on that right now with Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 1925, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, July 9th, 2014. A bill with bipartisan support has been introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives calling on the FCC to apply the reasonable accommodation 3-part test of the PRB1 federal preemption policy to private land use restrictions. Amateur Radio Newsline's Bruce Tennant, K6PZW.
The American Radio Parity Act of 2014, also known as H.R. 4969, was introduced on June 25th at the request of the American Radio Relay League, which worked with House of Representatives staffers to draft the proposed legislation. The bill's sponsor is Representative Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, and it has initial co-sponsorship from Representative Joe Courtney of Connecticut. If the measure is approved by the 113th Congress, it would require the FCC within 120 days of the bill's passage to amend the Part 97 amateur service rules to apply PRB1 coverage to include homeowners association regulations and deed restrictions. These are often referred to as covenants, conditions, and restrictions, and presently PRB1 only applies to state and local zoning laws and ordinances. H.R. 4969 has been referred to the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Representative Greg Walden, W7EQI of Oregon, chairs that panel's Communication and Technology Subcommittee, which will consider the measure.
We'll be watching this one closely. The Olympics of Amateur Radio are officially underway. Here's Jim Dameron in 8 TMW.
The World Radio Sport Team Championship 2014 operating event will take place on Saturday, July 12th, beginning at 1200 UTC and concluding Sunday the 13th at 1200 UTC. WRTC 2014 pits 59 two-operator amateur radio teams representing 32 countries in a battle of operating skill and strategy from identical locations and using identical antenna systems. Competing teams were selected from 29 qualifying regions around the world based on scores in a series of 55 qualifying events over a 3-year period. The team with the best score during the 24-hour operating competition will claim the gold medal and earn the distinction of being the best in the world. Live video streaming of some of the social events surrounding WRTC 2014 will begin on Wednesday, July 9th. These include the welcoming barbecue dinner, the opening ceremony, as well as the closing ceremony.
The World Radio Sport Team Championship is held every 4 years. This year's venue is in and around the city of Westboro, Massachusetts, near Boston. Previous events have been held in Seattle, San Francisco, Slovenia, Finland, Brazil, and most recently, Russia. NASA is inviting people around the world to submit their names to be etched on a microchip aboard a spacecraft headed to the asteroid Bennu in 2016. Amateur Radio Newsline's Stephen Kinford in 8WB.
The messages to Bennu microchip will travel to the asteroid aboard the Origin Spectral Interpretation Resource Identification Security Regolith Explorer spacecraft. The robotic mission will spend more than 2 years at the asteroid, which has a width of approximately 1,760 feet. While there, it will collect samples of Bennu's surface and return it to Earth in a special capsule. The deadline to submit names online is this coming September 30th. Those who take part in the Messages to Bennu campaign will be able to print a certificate of appreciation to document their involvement. To submit your name, or maybe your name and call sign following your last name, simply visit planetary.org/Bennu and fill out the very simple form. Figuring out how and where to add your ham radio call sign should be quite easy.
If you'd like to get regular updates on the mission, you can do so simply by following it on Facebook. You'll find the link to do that in the printed edition of this week's Amateur Radio Newsline Report. And finally this week, 7 News Australia reports a secret World War II base in northern Victoria State has resumed Morse code radio communication with the world after more than 70 years of silence. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, has the details.
The restored Flying Boat Museum at Lake Boga, near Swan Hill in northwest Victoria, was the home of the #1 flying boat repair depot during World War II. Hidden from aerial view with bomb-proof walls is a communications bunker. It's been restored and put on air by Thomas, Victor Kilo 3 Echo Oscar, complete with wartime receivers and smaller transmitters. Dropping in at the time of the recent TV news interview was Gene Willocks, a wartime radio operator who tried the key for the first time since the war.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news brought to you each and every week for over 35 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
And that's what's going on in the world of amateur radio. Aside from WRTC 2014, of course, that's taking center stage. And not only can you get on and actually work the WRTC participants, if you don't have time to get on and actually work them, but you still want to check out and see what's going on, of course, 21st century, this is live streaming, and you can get on right now at WRTC2014.org and check out the live stream. I don't think they have anything up right now on the live stream, but it is going to be there on and off all the way through the weekend. If you scroll down, Brian, I believe it has a schedule of, there you go, schedule of events as to when they're going to be breakfast and competition meetings starting tomorrow morning and all the way through Sunday. So you can get on and watch the live stream at WRTC2014.org and check that out. And of course, they're using ICOM radios at WRTC 2014, courtesy of DX Engineering. And now let's get a word from ICOM.
Some great D-Star radios have entered the market in the last year, but let's not forget all the solid analog radios out there. From radios strictly on 2 meters to dual banders with analog capability, ICOM has your complete analog solution. Check out ICOM's compact military rugged 2-meter IC23H mobile, 65 watts of stable output. Oversized tuning dial is easy to use. It's got 4.5 watts of loud audio, 207 memory channels, and multiple scan options. Consider the ICV8000 for your next mobile adventure on 2 meters, 75 watts of output power, a rugged die-cast aluminum chassis, and fast memory scanning with dynamic memory scan. ICOM's new ID5100A is a VHF-UHF dual-band transceiver with built-in D-Star. It's got a large 5.5-inch touchscreen with software keypad and SD card slot, 50 watts of output on both VHF and UHF, integrated GPS receiver, simultaneous 2-receive capability, and an optional UT133 Bluetooth unit that supports hands-free communications and an Android app. Looking for rugged, easy-to-use handhelds with plenty of memory channels, loud audio, and long-lasting battery life? The ICV80 and the V80HD is a 2-meter handheld with 5.5 watts of high power. A built-in BTL amplifier helps deliver 750 milliwatts of loud audio, and the HD version includes radio, lithium-ion battery pack, and a rapid charger for up to 19 hours of operation. The ICT70A HD is a dual-band transceiver for classic operation on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Like the V80 HD, this version includes the radio, lithium-ion battery pack, and the rapid charger for up to 19 hours of operation. It's easy to program with a simple keypad, large backlit alphanumeric display, and it has 700 milliwatts of loud and clear audio. Why not take a look today? Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM's analog ham radio selection.
And of course, you can tune in to enter to win each week after each episode of Ham Nation. All you got to do is go to icomamerica.com/hamnation. When you register, we'll enter you to win in the weekly contest for a great prize from the icomswagstore.com. You'll also be entered in to win the monthly grand prize. And this week, this month, the grand prize for July is this right here. That is the ID51. This is a full-featured dual-watch VHF-UHF handheld with D-Star. Integrated GPS, automatic repeater, list up, and more. Visit icomamerica.com/hamnation today. You can win yourself one of those, or if not one of these, of course, all the great ICOM swag. icomamerica.com/hamnation. Get on there today. And we have got Amanda, I believe, who has been watching the chat room. It's an exciting, exciting week, Amanda. What's going on with the chat room? A lot of WRTC 2014 chat?
Oh, definitely. I think a lot of people are excited to hear about this for the first time. You guys, I've been a ham for a little bit now, and I got to tell you, I didn't realize this was such a big deal. Just like the World Cup, although America failed, sorry, and so did Brazil. Anyhow, different story. Let's see. Yes, lots of WRTC. So, Val, I've got a lot of questions for ya. First of all, NT9E Dave wants to know, is Boston hosting all 59 teams for the contest or just the U.S. team?
All 59 teams are hosted. There is actually like an Olympic village for the members.
Wow.
And there is a hotel that they're all staying at. And their sites are located close and nearby, trying to make the terrain equal, all the equipment equal, everything equal, to leave it up to operator skill.
That totally makes sense. And that's also very cool. I'm sorry you didn't get to go. That would have been so much fun. Let's see. I have a couple other questions for you. Let's see. How are the call signs assigned for WRTC?
You know, to be honest with you, I don't know. They all have the 1-by-1 call, and I know they tossed out a few where the last letter was a little longer to do or harder to hear in CW. But I'm not sure. I'm sure it was probably random. That would make the most sense. But to be honest with you, I don't know.
I have some information on that. If you go to WRTC 2014, it's all right there on the website. All the 1-by-1 calls. And it's all listed under resources, I think, or competition participants, somewhere along that blue banner under the red World Radio Sport 2014 team. Somewhere around there, it will tell you all about the call signs and what they are and the list and everything else. So if you go to that website, WRTC2014.org, you can get to the streaming and everything else. Everything you want to know about WRTC 2014, including how to buy WRTC 2014 gear and swag and merchandise, is all right there on that website. Amanda?
And one more question. Does anybody know the ladies from Germany? Does anybody know their call signs? People are dying to
know. I know Sandy was Delta Lima 1, Quebec, Quebec. Irene, I'm not sure, but if you do go to the website, you can see a profile of all competitors, and it's broken out by country. So if you go to Europe and then scroll down there, you'll find the two lady competitors. Sandy, her name comes up as Alexandria or Alexander or something like that, but that's really Sandy, and then right below her is Irene, but I don't remember Irene's call.
Yeah, it's under participants, and there's competing teams, and then team profiles under the participants tag in the blue line there. You'll see home, then participants, and you go down and see all your team profiles: Europe, Africa, Asia, Oceania. It's all under there. So that's the place to go to look at all of the teams there. WRTC2014.org.
Okay, and I have a question of my own. Has the U.S. ever won?
Wow, I don't know.
Huh?
You know, I don't know that either.
Crickets.
You know, I've been an active ham for less than 4 years, so that's my excuse. But so this is my first WRTC, but I don't know. But that is a good question, Amanda.
Okay, let's go to Gordo. I have some questions for you. First one: how far have you worked on 2 meters during the Tropo opening?
So far, my record is 2,500 miles from here to Hawaii, and we did that last Saturday, running 15 watts of power and a 5-element beam mobile stationed on a hill. So if you're in the Tropo, it doesn't take a lot of power, and we made it to Hawaii. 2,500 miles.
That is so cool. I feel like 10 meters all over again. Let's see. I have another question for you. Let's see. I live about as close to the Gulf of Mexico as you do, Gordo. And he wants to know, how can I take advantage of all that salt water, or any suggestions? How can he make it work for him?
If you live next to a large body of water, tropo ducting can be done vertically polarized through repeaters. So I recommend get the ARRL repeater directory or some of the other repeater resources. Look at repeaters down in Florida, namely Tampa. Dial in their frequency during a high pressure system, and lo and behold, you might be able to bring up those distant repeaters from the Panhandle all the way down to Florida easily during Tropo, April, May, June, July, and August times.
Very good. I hope he takes advantage of that and makes the contacts work. With that, I've got to ask Don, have you ever made those kind of contacts?
No, not like that. Not the Tropo. We don't get that here, but I've been involved in some pretty amazing 2-meter band openings. A lot of times when I'm leaving for work, I'll tune into one of the New Orleans radio stations, which is on 99.5. And for some reason, when that station, particularly WRNO, doesn't come in very good, I hear a little bit of scatter and maybe another station trying to come in underneath it. I'll tune over to 14694, which was the very first, 3494 was the very first 2-meter repeater pair. And so for a long time, that was the only frequency that 2-meter repeaters were on. So therefore, there's more 2-meter repeaters on that pair, 14694, 14634. And I'll key up and I will hear 6 or 7 repeaters coming back when it's a good band opening. And one morning driving to New Orleans from South Mississippi, there was a huge band opening. It was all the way from South Texas
to northern Arkansas, to Alabama, to all the way over to the east coast of Florida, all talking together at the same time, and it was just pretty amazing. So when you get in on something like that, probably not as cool as, say, talking to Hawaii from the West Coast, but still very cool nonetheless, Amanda.
Okay. And you guys, I apologize. I've heard I was clipping just a little bit. Hopefully my audio is just a little bit lower now, so I'm not blowing your ears out. Apologize about that. One more question for Gordo. And Gordo, that is, how do you work the Tropo? Can you work, is it FM, SSB, CW, all the above? What's going on?
Get started with FM. And Don, I bet that was a Tropo opening on 3494. Because Tropo, as you saw on the map, is up and down the East Coast from the Gulf into areas like Miami and Tampa, even further south. And the way to get started is try tuning in the weather stations. Most 2-meter radios tune up to 162 megahertz. Tune in 162, 400, 425, 450. Catch the idea. The weather station, vertically polarized, is what we use on FM. If you go sideband, you need to be horizontal, but don't worry about that yet. Get started on FM and work a repeater that's several hundred miles away, and that is likely Tropo if the weather is hot and a high-pressure system is between you and that distant station.
That's great. And I have one more personal question. So since you're in, and I'm going to mess up what city you live in, let's say basically a little bit south of Central California on the coast, where would you recommend first trying to contact a repeater? Maybe in San Francisco, something like that?
Yep. I would recommend get a repeater directory and find a repeater 300 or 400 miles away, not separated by a big mountain range. Wait for a high-pressure cell to sit in when the weather is real hot and sticky and smoggy, and then just tune around and with your squelch off and start listening for distant repeaters.
Oh, that's good. With the closing here, I just want to say good luck to everybody in the WRTC this weekend, and I look forward to working some of you guys, and especially to good old Ray, Ray Novak. He's in there too, competing. So good luck, you guys. And with that, let's see. I think I'm sending it to Don. What do you got, Don? Oh, he never came back. That's a bummer.
All right. Well, okay. I can say that we're going to be on HF. Cheryl K9BIK will be at 3847 kilohertz lower sideband. We're going to be on 7278 as well as 20 meters, so tune around for us. Next week, we're going to have as our show hosts many of our net controllers. So net controllers, you're on next week. Well, Bob's up in Canada, and I'm at the League's ARRL 100. Back to you, and we're going to let you go ahead and close the show. Amanda, go ahead.
I got to close the show? Wow. First of all, thanks you guys for all your wonderful answers. I appreciate that. 7278, that's where I will be tonight, and look forward to hearing you all on there. So it's been a wonderful show. And thank you, Val, and the guys from WRTC for giving us a wonderful demonstration of what you're doing there. Want to say goodbye, Val?
Sure, and I also have an answer for you on the winners of the WRTC. Great. The first year we had it in Seattle, the U.S. won that. We also won it in 1996, 2000, and 2002. So, and then 2006, Brazil had it, and 2010, Russia won it. So,
wow.
We've won it quite a few times. So anyway, it was great talking to everybody at the WRTC, and I'm going to be busy this weekend filling out all my cards I got from the Bureau this week. So,
wow.
All right. Anything from you, Don? What you got?
Looking for my American flag. I'm getting all hyped up now. I'm World Cup, Swirl Cup. I want that's what I'm doing. WRTC, baby. USA.
All right. USA. I'd show my flag, but we absolutely just threw it in the washing machine. I can't believe it.
Oh, no.
I know.
Well, I'm getting ready to check into the D-Star net. I do. Oh, look at that. Nice.
You know, I check into the D-Star net, I believe, here on 14 Charlie and see what's going on with them on my 51. So get on that icomamerica.com/HamNation website. See if you can't win yourself one of these. These are cool little radios. Amanda, back to you.
Okay, you guys. Well, it looks like we're getting ready to go to HF. Gordo, did you tune in yet? Do you hear anything? What's going on HF?
I will be probably on HF tonight, maybe D-Star when I'm back in Hartford, Connecticut next week. So 73, everybody. Let's head on over to high frequency, 3847, 7278, 20 meters, 14268 or around there and higher, 73.
That's great. Thank you, Gordo. And by the way, have a great time in Connecticut. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I wish I could get there, and enjoyed working the 13 colonies this last weekend, though.
All right, guys. Thanks for being a part of Ham Nation tonight. For everybody involved, Don Wilbanks, E5W from South Mississippi, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. And let's listen to the D-Star net, shall we?
Yeah, you're welcome to come back and join us. We usually start about 10 o'clock Eastern time, which is right around the end of Ham Nation. We're always here on it.